The quarterbacks rotate through team drills. Joe Flacco, steady as ever, slips high percentage throws into lineouts. Dillon Gabriel, the third-round pick, botches a few reads. A botch check comes back with an interception, the only pick six of the day. It's a flagrant reminder of why the Browns hesitated on him in earlier rounds. Meanwhile, on the scout team side, Shedeur Sanders is simply slicing through whatever defense lines up in front of him. 9 of 10 completions. Sharpe Chris mechanics. He fires a slant right in stride. Feet planted like he's done this 1,000 times before. He doesn't wave his arm around. He doesn't dance in the pocket. He just plays smart. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. Like someone who studies a film harder than anyone else in the room, Gabriel throws the pick six. That's now put him to red. Meanwhile, Flacco, not flashy, just reliable. And Shedeur, still buried on the depth chart, still only getting crumbs of opportunity, yet quietly unmatched inconsistency. Then it happens. Sanders is handed a 2-minute drill with the second-team offense. Nobody expected fireworks. What he does instead is surgical. First down. Check down, tight coverage. He squeezes it in for a gain. Second down. He freezes a blitz. Creator's drive begins. Touchdown on third down. Rollout. Fake pump. Back shoulder fade to his receiver. Dropped right in. It felt like a veteran finishing with ice in his veins. Cue the veterans in the huddle, patting his helmet. Subtle nods, rugby slam arm taps. Respect being earned, not given. That evening, Browns Twitter is aflame. Fans post side-by-side clips. Shedeur's 2-minute execution versus Gabriel's pick six. The narrative starts shifting in real time from speculation to demand. Start Sanders. Even inside the building, things change. Coaches rewatch the tape, not looking for teaching moments this time, but evaluation. Could he handle 20 plays with the first team? Executives who've been quiet start catching whispers. He's more natural in this offense than the guys ahead of him. But then, a bomb drops. Owner Jimmy Haslam, in an offhand comment, let slip that he didn't want to draft Sanders. That's not just foot in mouth. That's nuclear. Because suddenly some fans and media start wondering if all of this, Sanders' hesitation, limited reps, conservative usage, was more about internal politics than football. Now, the QB situation isn't just smarter versus younger. It's now about allegiance, about ownership, about who really controls the narrative. And that ownership gap, fans and veterans smell it. Wide receivers start mumbling about rotational shifts. Offensive linemen do extra shoulder exercises to throw more with Sanders in drills. Even Flacco, quietly efficient, is asked whether he's seen this kind of urgency before. He doesn't give a soundbite. He places a hand on Shedeur's back and says, "Kid's a pro." Again and again, everyone falls back to the truth. The tape doesn't lie. Now, the last 10 days of camp, Shedeur's every rep becomes a textbook case for meritocracy. He throws with timing, anticipation, placement. He's not perfect. His deep ball still floats on a few reps, but even that shows control. His interceptions? 0. His poise? Veteran level. In the media room, analysts pivot. This isn't a flash in the pan. It's a methodical uprising. And here's the ugly truth the Browns staff is grappling with. Every day they don't carve him into the rotation is just political cover. Another line in the ledger to avoid admitting a past mistake. Because let's face it, Dillon Gabriel's pick six today might be the most measured moment of his camp so far. Sanders' performance might be the clearest indication Cleveland has had in years that they actually might have a franchise quarterback on their hands. So what's the Browns' plan? They're hoping to cling to competing fairly until the preseason games arrive. Keep Gabriel and Flacco in the conversation. Let Shedeur cool off in the corner. Make it look like a process. But that process, it's unraveling faster than they can spin it. In the post-practice huddle, a veteran defensive back, anonymously but speaking volumes. Thing is simple. If you gave Shedeur first team one day, the room shifts. I want to play for that guy. So now the locker room is a second pressure point. the first being the tape, the third being the national media. By evening, everyone's talking about it. The pick six, the 2-minute drive, the owner's comment, and most importantly, whether Cleveland will rise above its politics or keep letting it define them. Would they? That question hangs heavy over the next 2 days of practice, where Shedeur again quietly dominates. Every side route, every coverage recognition, every timing throw gets him just a little closer to being undeniable. By day 8, the staff relents just a bit. He gets 5 snaps for the first team. It's a test drive. If he struggles, no harm. If he thrives, well, that's been happening since day 1. Those snaps, he's flawless. 3 throws, 2 completions, and the sideline crowd reacts like for a touchdown. The turnaround is now official. The camp narrative switches from 4-man competition to Sanders leading the charge. Gabriel's pick six now looks like the metaphor for Cleveland's past decision-making, and Shedeur's calm dominance looks like the template for their future. But here's a deeper point. This is no longer just about who starts. It's about reestablishing Cleveland as a team that actually values talent over reputation. It's about shaking free from past mistakes. It's about telling the fan base and the league that this time is different. Day 10 of camp, leaders meeting. Players, veterans, coaches all sit together. No media, just honesty. One veteran says, "If you don't make this kid the starter, you're telling me character, preparation, and performance don't matter here." It's not an attack. It's reality. And by the final practice before preseason, Shedeur is permanently elevated into first-team reps. The coaching staff slowly shifts language in media sessions. Competition's tight. Becomes Sanders will be evaluated with equal reps. The depth chart reveals itself. Sanders is listed second behind Flacco, with Gabriel and Pickett lagging. That's a far cry from day 1. But even so, it's still holding Shedeur back. Sanders' calm, almost stoic response? At media day, only thing I control is the game plan, the execution, and my body. The rest is football. If they put me in, I'm ready. If they don't, I'll be ready next week. That answer? That's what separates rookies from future Hall of Famers. The mindset is already grown. As Browns camp closes and preseason begins, the sense in Cleveland is clear. Shedeur has gone from overlooked QB4 to the quiet center of inevitability. But the real question now, who in the organization is brave enough to say it? Will they finally align the quarterback with the team's tempo, identity, and fans? Or will they continue fumbling right before the finish line? Because what this has revealed isn't just a talent, it's an identity choice. And if they let him slip by, or slow play him longer, history has shown Cleveland rarely gets that chance twice. Shedeur Sanders didn't ask for this war. He only showed up and played like a quarterback made rather than manufactured. Now, the Cleveland Browns find themselves at the center of a clash more profound than playbooks or depth charts. It's a battle for organizational identity. Will they honor talent and ambition, or cling to caution and continuity? By the middle of training camp, the cracks were impossible to ignore. American football Shedeur was completing over 73% of his passes in team drills. American football, he engineered multiple scoring drives in padded practice with no interceptions. American football, he managed pressure like a veteran, keeping eyes downfield, audibling protections, never panicking. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco's continued to perform reliably but unremarkably. Dillon Gabriel, despite being a third-day pick, threw multiple sloppy interceptions, including a pick six that had coaches shaking their heads. Kenny Pickett was still sidelined, relegated to a spectator role. Yet the official mantra from the front office, we're evaluating fairly. Competition's wide open, and the public face of leadership, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, claiming he wasn't the one who pushed for Sanders in the draft, a comment interpreted almost